Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at a brand new album from Jack Russell's Great White called Great Zeppelin II. It is a tribute to Led Zeppelin and was released on August 13th of 2021. But before we dive into all that, if you are new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with taking a look at the brand new Jack Russell's Great White Great Zeppelin album. So a little bit of history here. The original band of Great White formed way back in 1977, but didn't release its self-titled album until 1984. They rose to success with a couple albums. Once Bitten came out in 1987 and Twice Shy in 1989. They were sort of a 1-2 punch related to one another, culminating with their 1991 album Hooked. And despite the fall of 80s rock and glam metal, the band maintained its blues rock roots and sound style. They were one of the few bands that actually did that. Most bands attempted to modernize and change their sound. Great White did not, thank goodness. Between 1992 and 1996, they released 3 more really strong albums. And then in 1998, they released Great Zeppelin, which was a live album and, of course, tribute to Led Zeppelin, of which the one we're going to talk about, this one here, is a sequel to, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, the band had previously had a small-size radio hit with the song Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, which came from MTV Unplugged, cover of the Led Zeppelin classic, of course. And so it only made sense that the band would do an entire album worth of covers. And since then, the band, though, has released 3 more studio albums before they parted ways with lead vocalist Jack Russell, at which point Great White continued on with several different singers, and Jack Russell formed his own version of Great White, simply being called Jack Russell's Great White to distinguish the two. For many of us, though, I think Jack's vocals are the band, they're the sound of the band, and so in my opinion, this version here, Jack Russell's Great White, has every right to be calling itself or using the name Great White. And since then, Jack has released 2 albums himself. He saw it coming in 2017, as well as this one here, Once Bitten, Acoustic Bytes in 2020, which is acoustic renditions in the studio of the album Once Bitten. So pretty cool there. If you haven't checked that out, I do recommend it, of which there's actually a version of Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You on that one as well. And so, of course, that brings us to the album we want to talk about, Great Zeppelin II from 2021 now. And as I mentioned, it is a sequel to this, the original one from 1998. So the one that came out, though, in 1998 was a live album. This one here is a studio album, and I think it's all the better for it. Jack, has always shared comparisons to Robert Plant. In fact, today, though, I think Jack Russell sounds more like Robert Plant than Robert Plant does himself. But that makes this tribute all the better for it. And Jack's vocals, though, on this are as distinct as ever. They still sound like Jack. He's got the power and the depth and everything that we know him for. He's still able to do it. Amazing after all this time. I mean, that is one of the powerful things about Jack, is still his vocals. This album here has 14 songs on it, none of which appeared on the first album. So this one here, you can listen to these back to back, making it a true sequel in nature. Some of the standout selections from the new album here: Misty Mountain Hop, Houses of the Holy, Trampled Underfoot, The Rover, and Living, Loving, Maid. I've only got 2 complaints on this album here, is that the songs are all faithfully recreated. So besides Jack's vocals on it, there's not really much difference to it between this and, of course, Led Zeppelin. The second complaint is in the mix on it, and it's case in point with a lot of the Deadline Records albums, and that's the label this is on, Deadline Records. It's darker and muddier, less bright than I think that it should be, but of course that's just my opinion on it. It still sounds good nonetheless on it. Cool side note too, the rhythm guitarist on this album here is Michael Oliveri, who comes from the 80s metal band Leatherwolf. So kind of cool seeing him pop up here. Let's take a look at this. There's the front cover of it, and just as a comparison, I'll show you the original one. So awesome the way that they do the shark as the Zeppelin itself. It is a digipack, and it opens up like this. CD's in the player because I'm actually playing it right now. No booklet with it, no write-up, unfortunately. Just gives you who's playing on it, that kind of stuff. And there you go, the track listing on the back. So unfortunately, pretty minimal in its packaging. I do wish they had done something where they explained why they chose the songs they did, but unfortunately we're not getting that. So bottom line though, I do think it's a great tribute to a classic band, deservingly so of getting one. Jack Russell is in fine form here. He sounds as good as ever. The band does a great job recording and recreating these classics here, but I wish they had taken some chances and reinterpreted some of the songs, maybe done some acoustically, just something different to it that would have made this album more of a necessity for us fans to own. And although it is a good album for fans, of course, Jack Russell and Great White, also of course Led Zeppelin, but the idea of needing this in the collection probably doesn't extend much beyond the fact, unless you're a big fan like me. Still, I would recommend checking it out, as I do think it is a very good album. All right, and there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Do check the description for links to related videos. In particular, I've done a full review of Jack Russell's Great White doing the Once Bitten Acoustic Bytes album. I'll leave that in a link in there for you if you're interested in that. And certainly if you're still watching and enjoyed this video, please share it out on social media. Help spread the word that way. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.